Alright, we are back once again with yet another Pokemon trading card game deck profile. Once again, sleeved up another crazy deck, I guess. This time we're taking a look at Pikachu. Yes, the poster child of the franchise itself. Pikachu EX. 200 HP on this Terra-type Lightning Pokemon. And what makes Pikachu shine is it's got this crazy ability here, Resolute Heart. If this Pokemon has full HP and will be knocked out by damage from an attack, it is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10. So it basically can tank a hit if it doesn't have any damage on it at all. Now, in the metagame, there are a handful of things that like spread damage, or in the case of like Dusclops, Duskull, Dusknoir, problems there. However, we have favorable tech in matchups into other things. And of course, its attack is Topaz Bolt. It does 300 damage. You need a grass, a lightning, and a metal, and you discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So you can technically have more than 3 energy on this Pokemon. Then it can tank a hit, and then you can do it again. So 300 is nothing to scoff at. That pretty much knocks out everything in the game except for Stage 2 Pokemon EX. And we'll get away around those in a little bit here. So we're rocking 3 copies of Pikachu. I unfortunately have to play the full art. I only have 2 of the regular EXs. I do like the regular, I think, the most out of what we've got access to. So let's slap those down here. To support Pikachu, we are playing a 2-2 line of Magneton. Ultimately, you could use the Scarlet and Violet base set Magnemite. I don't have any on hand easily accessible right now, so I'm just shoving these in because they're new and they're pretty reverse foils, but they all have 60 HP in one retreat. They all have different attacks, but they're just kind of whatever. And then we're rocking 2 copies of Magneton with Overvolt Discharge. Once during your turn, you may attach up to 3 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Lightning Pokemon in any way you like. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. So you're giving up a prize card in order to attach 3 energy of any kind to a Lightning Pokemon, aka Pikachu. So you can attack ultimately on your second turn if you go first, getting a Magneton set up and evolved into. To continue supporting the lightning stuff in the deck, I've got a single copy of Miraidon EX for the Tandem Unit ability to grab Pikachus and Magnemites and the next card in the deck. And then, of course, Photon Blaster for 220. It is obtainable. You do have enough. It's not likely going to happen, but it is something we can do in this deck. The next and last lightning-type Pokemon in the deck is a copy of Iron Hands EX, 230 HP, Arm Press, and Amp You Very Much. You know, the whole meme that they do every time that you see this on the streams. Amp You Very Much does 120 for a Lightning and 3 colorless, and when you knock out a Pokemon with this attack, you take an additional prize card. So you can kind of make up for what you've lost with the Magneton, and it's pretty accessible again because of Magneton's energy acceleration. You can pop a Magneton off onto the Iron Hands, attach for turn, you have all 4 energy, and then Iron Hands is a very much real threat into a lot of different matchups. Continuing along, we have a single copy of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, 210 HP, and of course we have the Teal Dance. Once during your turn, you can attach a basic grass energy to this Pokemon and then draw a card. And then for 3 grass, you have 30 plus 30 times energy attached to both. It's not likely you're ever going to attack with Ogerpon. It is possible. It is very possible to do it. There are ways to do so with other cards in this list, but it's not super likely. And in the ultimate case that you do, this is good into Charizard, but they'll probably just be smart enough to target it and knock it out. Then we have our crazy support. We've got a single copy of Fan Rotom with Fan Call. If it's your first turn, you can search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them and put them into your hand. And then, of course, Assault Landing does 70 only if you have a Stadium in play, which we might not have one. They might, so it depends on the rest of the situation. But we are rocking a 3-3 line of Hoot Hoot and Noctowl. So Hoot Hoot, nothing to scoff at. Just 70 HP colorless. You can grab it with the Fan Rotom. But we're going to evolve into Noctowl with its ability, Jewel Seeker. Once during your turn, when you play this Noctowl basically onto a Hoot Hoot and evolve, you can search your deck for 2 trainer cards if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. And then, of course, we have 4 Terra Pokemon in our list. We have 3 Pikachu and the 1 Ogerpon EX. So pretty easily able to be done. And then, of course, we have the standard support trio. We've got the Radiant Greninja. We want energy in the discard pile, so we can go ahead and discard 1 and draw 2 with concealed cards. We've got the Squawk ability for the turn 1 setup, discard our hand, and draw 6 cards with Squawk and Seize. And also Motivate's not the worst thing ever here, because we can accelerate 2 energy onto a Pikachu, next turn attach, so on and so forth. So it's another way to accelerate energy onto Pikachu outside of just using it for Squawk and Seize. And then last but not least, we have a Pheasantipity, of course, for that flip the script to be able to draw 3 cards if one of our Pokemon were knocked out during their last turn. And technically, its attack costs 3 colorless. For Cruel Arrow, you can do 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, including their bench. So potentially a usable card. All right, into the supporters. I'm not going to hang out on these for too long. We've got 3 copies of Iono. We've got 1 copy of Arven to grab an item and a tool. We have 1 Research, discard a hand and draw 7. We have 1 Boss for our Gusting. We then have a single copy of Crispin. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards of different types, attach 1 to a Pokemon, and then put 1 in your hand. So this basically helps you accelerate an additional energy onto Pikachu, permitting that there's still some left in the deck. And then last but not least in the supporters, we are playing a copy of Briar. If they have 2 prize cards left, we can use Briar to take an additional prize card if one of our Terra Pokemon takes a knockout. And with, of course, the Magneton, we can force them to take prize cards, so getting them down to 2 closer, so we can potentially take a 3 prize knockout at the end of the game. For our stadiums, I am playing just a single copy of Gravity Mountain. Each Stage 2 Pokemon in play gets minus 30 HP. This is how we deal with Charizard, Gardevoir, Dragapult. The list goes on and on. So we just need a single copy of this to be able to put this in play, hit them for 300, and take a knockout. And then hopefully, gust around and use other things like Briar or Iron Hands to either take extra prize cards or kind of mitigate the prize trade in our favor. And then I'm going to go through the items pretty quickly. We have 4 copies of Nest Ball, grab a basic from the deck. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, discard 2, search for any Pokemon, so that's going to grab us our Noctowls and Magnetons specifically. Nest Ball will grab everything else. We've got 1 copy of Hisuian Heavy Ball to get a Pokemon out of the prize cards if it's there. We've got then 2 copies of Earth and Vessel to discard a card and search our deck for 2 energy cards. So this is going to help us cycle the energy into our hand so we can attach it, use it for Teal Dance, discard it, get it in for Magneton, so on and so forth. Then for some energy manipulation, we have 2 copies of Glass Trumpet. We can only use this if we have a Terra Pokemon in play, aka Pikachu and Ogerpon, but you can attach 2 energy to your benched colorless Pokemon and make that happen. So colorless Pokemon, we've got the Squawk ability, the Fan Rotom, the Hoot Hoot, and the Noctowl. So as long as we have Ogerpon or Pikachu, we can attach 2 of those Pokemon, 1 energy from there, and then okay, so it's not getting on the Pikachu, so how does that help? I am playing, excuse me, 2 copies of Energy Switch to move those from the colorless Pokemon to the Pikachu. In addition, the Energy Switch also helps with Ogerpon. So you're able to potentially, Teal Dance, Crispin, Energy Switch, attack with Pikachu, so on and so forth. So there's just a lot of sequencing and combo plays that we have to make with these cards. And then to round out what's going on, we've got 2 copies of Night Stretcher to get our Pokemon back from the discard pile, as well as whatever energy type we might be missing from everything else. Then we have a single copy of Counter Catcher. If we're behind, it's basically a boss's orders on an item card. So we're giving them prize cards with Magneton, so it's definitely going to help out there. Since we do play 1 copy of Arven, we are playing some tools. The most important one, of course, is the Sparkling Crystal. When attached to a Terra Pokemon, its energy costs are 1 less, not 1 colorless, just 1 less. So you can, if you miss, say, Lightning and you got a Metal and a Grass on a Pikachu, you can make it happen. Or, in this case, Ogerpon into a Charizard. If we can Teal Dance, attach a Grass for turn, attach Sparkling Crystal, and then Ogerpon can potentially get there. The math doesn't super work out, so it's going to need a 3rd energy from some shape or form of an Energy Switch or like trumpet effect or whatever else. But it is one of the few ways that Ogerpon can attack, but it's primarily so we can attack with Pikachu with just 2 energy cards whatsoever. And then we've got a Defiance Band. If we're behind on prizes, we do an additional 30 damage. Again, it's like the second Gravity Mountain, so that way Pikachu can hit for 330 over these Stage 2 Pokemon EX. And last but not least, we have an escape board. Just about everything in here except for Iron Hands has a retreat cost of 1. So this is just going to make it so everything else can retreat and pivot around. If Iron Hands gets trapped in the active, we're just going to have to force our way to attacking with it with Magneton, which isn't the worst thing ever, but I do think playing this board for longevity over, say, like a copy of Switch, or like in this case Prime Catcher, because we really want to play the Sparkling Crystal to make it easier to attack. And then of course, last but not least, we're rocking 10 basic energy. We've got 3 metal, 3 lightning, and 4 grass. The reasoning for the extra grass over the other ones is just because of the Teal Dance. Being able to draw that additional card every turn is really beneficial. So we've got the 4 grass, 3 lightning, and 3 metal to go from there. But this is the Pikachu list that I've got cooked up. I feel like it's pretty good. It is not the most easy deck to play. It does require a little bit more sequencing and thought process than, say, like a Raging Bolt kind of deck that can do a lot more damage more simply. I just think it's a lot more fun to kind of branch it out, especially like we're going to be in this like long format until Prismatic Evolutions, and even then that doesn't cause the rotation either, so we're still waiting for the unnamed next set of the Scarlet and Violet era, which may or may not be like that Team Rockets that they're talking about, so who knows. So we're just going to try and play as many fun decks as possible. Keep an eye out on the channel for some gameplay of this from our weekly Pokemon League. We'll get some gameplay up over the next few weeks of this and some of the other deck profiles on the channel, and whatever else you might want to see. Keep an eye out for all that kind of stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment down below what your favorite part of this deck list is, what decks you want to see me cover, what matches you want to see, and all that kind of stuff for the channel in terms of Pokemon TCG content. Or if you're here for something else, also let me know down below. I appreciate you sticking it out to the end of the video. And since you did make it to the end of the video, why not have a couple code cards? We've got a couple, so here you go. There is a Surging Sparks code. Good luck on all of these. If you're playing TCG Live, I hope you are able to snag these and enjoy them while you can. But that'll do it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Much love and peace out.